What can the left do when a billionaire opens up and makes themselves an ally? On this episode of Run It Back, Mark Cuban shifts left while other super rich elites like Elon Musk and Ellen DeGeneres show their true colors. The coronavirus pandemic has affected pretty much everyone on this planet, and I think most of us kind of assumed the type of people who would believe the science behind a pandemic and those who wouldn't. But I think what's more interesting is what we found out about these super rich elites that so many people worship on a day-to-day basis. Ellen DeGeneres has been exposed as the worst kind of liberal, Elon Musk is a science-denying conspiracy theorist, and Mark Cuban, well, Cuban is definitely the most interesting one we're going to talk about, because he suddenly moved from an Ayn Rand reading right-wing libertarian to someone who believes in things like the minimum wage and a federal jobs guarantee, which is to the left of Democratic leadership to a big degree. Is there an advantage to progressives there? Is there anything people on the left can do to make that work in our favor, to actually make the idea of a federal jobs guarantee more likely? I think so, but first, let's start with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been outright denying the potential dangers of the coronavirus. Recently, he even threatened to move Tesla HQ to Texas or Nevada or some other state where they're not limiting the business that he can do. Elon Musk has been pretty hardcore anti-do anything about the problem. Tweets like this: "The coronavirus panic is dumb." Wow. That did not hold up very well now that we're at 80,000 deaths. He tweets April 4th, "You are okay. A really, really bad flu year can barely reach 80,000 dead. We have 80,000 dead in like 2 months. My God. Free America now." And here he goes out of nowhere just tweeting the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. It's like this is what a 6th grader would tweet out trying to make a point. Oh yeah? You ever read the Constitution? Oh yeah? And that's not even close to all of it. Check this out. Elon Musk changed his profile picture to a picture of Deus Ex, the video game. The game is about a government agent exposing the Illuminati in their deliberate release of a virus which becomes a global pandemic that was done to control society. Hashtag COVID-19, hashtag QAnon, what? Hashtag Q what? Hashtag red pill. Oh no, Elon, Jesus. And the QAnon craziness wasn't just a little foray into fake news, wild nonsense, conspiracy bullshit. Here he is tweeting out a YouTube video that when I clicked on it had already been removed by YouTube for violating YouTube's community guidelines. And you know what it violated? It was super fake, and it put people at immediate risk of contracting COVID-19 or getting sick. While Elon might actually care about the environment, I don't really know. Everything else he does suggests he doesn't care about people. He cares about the planet so long that it can last long enough for him to make more money and for his kid, beep boop bop beep, to make more money. And then there's Ellen DeGeneres. Now, she's not the super billionaire that Elon Musk is, but she's worth something like $500 million. She's super rich relative to anyone I know or you know or most people know. And since coronavirus, she's been revealed as a complete phony. Turns out she's not cool, she's not fun, she just shits on the working class people who power her show back before the pandemic and during it. The evidence has been coming in from everywhere, from trying to get a waitress fired for having chipped fingernails, to not looking at or saying hi to her own staff members, to literally replacing her union crew with a non-union crew to save money even though she's worth $500 million and her show is still on air. And I just read like yesterday that Ellen would just use her celebrity to get out of speeding tickets, something me and you, once again, can't do. Combine that with her new special on Netflix, which is all about how she doesn't really know what normal life is like and can't relate to normal people, and it is pretty funny, but after this, it's kind of revealed itself it's not a joke. Just the reality. She's not kidding. She really has no idea what normal people are like. So, Elon Musk, a super billionaire, and Ellen DeGeneres, a Hollywood elite, are absolutely willing to sacrifice the working class people who work under them in order to buy additional mansions or yachts or helicopters or whatever the rich do, and generally just to make more money for themselves, even though they could easily stop what they're doing and pay all of their employees no problem. But are there any positive signs from the rich? Enter Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban has been an absolute surprise. But like I said in the start of the video, this is an Ayn Rand reading billionaire who made his money with the internet boom, just like Musk. Well, Musk was already rich. Musk just made more money during the internet boom. That was his first time doubling down or something. But Cuban is filthy rich too. And now he supports the idea of a jobs guarantee. And now he supports the idea of a higher minimum wage. And how did the left respond? Crickets. Nothing. We didn't do anything. Maybe some retweets, but there's plenty of people on the left like, oh, he's not a real comrade. Who cares? We don't want his support. Nothing was done. But what can we do? What could we do on the left? Is there an actual advantage to Mark Cuban taking on some very left ideas like a federal jobs guarantee, even if he's not totally on board with anything else? But federal jobs guarantee he is. Is there an advantage to that? I'd say, obviously, yes. In fact, I'd say the left needs to develop a toolbox for how to deal with situations exactly like these. What can the left do when a billionaire opens up and makes themselves an ally in some ways? Now, I probably agree with you. I don't think billionaires should exist, period. I think we should probably have a 100% tax rate at $1 billion or way less than that, or who gives a shit, but we should probably have it. Or at least something really high like we had during World War II when this country became the greatest superpower on earth. Here are some of my ideas we could implement in developing this toolbox for billionaires. So long as they are going to exist, we might as well not cede the ground to the right and just say we don't want them. No. We want them, just how we use them has to be a little different. For one, instead of letting them stand for the entire left, which they absolutely cannot and should not, we should let them focus on one issue that they opened up about, like Cuban and the federal jobs guarantee, but give them guidance on it and empower them. Don't try to turn them into heroes. Heroes will always fail, but let them champion the ideas while we on the left put up some goalposts and some out of bounds lines and make it very clear what's not acceptable before they find themselves there anyways. That also means making sure that we don't let the right wing get to them first, like with something like UBI, where there are left-wing implementations of it and right-wing implementations of it, and the right-wing ones are really, really dangerous. So we have to guide people when they finally open up to things like that. I think for a lot of billionaires like Cuban, one thing we can do is invite them to events about jobs guarantees. Asking him to be on a panel to discuss how it would affect business could be useful to him and gets him deeper into the federal jobs guarantee community. Ingrain him in there. Make sure he feels like he's important and he's an ally and there are people counting on him within that cause. And let him use his money and power and influence to spread the idea. Our job is to make sure it follows at least within some guidelines that make sense to the left. Now, how do we become the ones that set the guidelines? Well, like I said, we can't let the right wing beat us to it. We need to open up. We need to start hosting events. We need to invite him to it. Bernie Sanders should have already reached out to him, but that's out of brand. I totally understand that. But again, without a toolbox, nobody knows what to do with this at all. We have to develop something we can agree on because this is a huge missed opportunity on the left. And look, I get it. If you have a major problem with bringing in a billionaire to the leftist movement to try to accomplish things, look, that makes sense. But as the left proved with Bernie, when Bernie said, oh, go, you gotta vote for Biden, the left said, maybe, some of us, kind of doing their own thing, making their own decisions. There's no problem on the left with dropping somebody like that if they turn out not to be a good ally. So let's use them while we can. Here's another thing the left can do, specifically with Cuban and the NBA specifically. There are already groups, the more than an athlete groups with LeBron, but I think there can be more than that. You have people like Greg Popovich, Steve Kerr, Mark Cuban. They're all outspoken NBA coaches or owners in Cuban's case. Really, there should be a group that exists specifically to defend athletes, both legally, on social media, with PR, when they come out and make a stand that they care about. So we can stop this shut up and dribble bullshit that always permeates the media whenever a black athlete, or really even just anybody on the left, comes out and says anything. Someone not wanting to go to the White House after they win a championship, whatever. There should be a group that the left should design to protect these people and celebrate them. I think the third thing we can do is really a very specific tactic relative to Mark Cuban. We need to convince Mark Cuban to run for president. Maybe this time as an independent against Trump. I don't know. I haven't actually gamed that out if that helps or hurts or what that does. But at least next time, I mean, think about it. What if your options on the right are Ted Cruz and Mark Cuban? Well, give me the self-made billionaire who understands technology, I guess, and has connections to the African American community, cool, and who believes in a federal jobs guarantee. I'd much rather a Democratic Party take that on than something else, because that means the Democratic Party would have to move left. Democratic Party would have to take that on, that federal jobs guarantee policy on as well. And if they didn't, they'd probably lose. And I'd much rather lose to that Republican than another Trump or a Ted Cruz or a Matt Gaetz. My God. So there you have it. When the coronavirus pandemic set in, billionaires and the super rich had options. Elon Musk decided that his business was the most important thing. He doesn't care about his city, his state, his community, his workers. He's here to make money and go crazy and do whatever little kid toy box shit he wants to do with all his money. That's his prerogative. Fuck him. Ellen DeGeneres decided to fire her union workers, and pretty much everybody on Twitter came out and exposed her for being a fraud and having always been a fraud. And then there's Mark Cuban, who saw the light, who realized that, hey, people are suffering right now and there are real things that can be done to end suffering. Not just right now when all the issues aren't new, but just newly exposed. But always. Before this, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people need jobs, they need security, they need full fridges. We shouldn't have to be going to the store every week because that's all we can afford. There's a lot of benefits to things like federal jobs guarantee. And it's things even billionaires like Mark Cuban can understand and get behind. As members of the left, we need to use that to our advantage. And I don't mean that he's our greatest ally and he needs to be the next Democratic or DSA or Green or Working Family Party's nominee. No. But I'm saying he's better than the alternatives on the right, and his idea is good, and he can reach people that we can't. So let's use it. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and please subscribe so I can keep making videos like this. For now though, this has been Run It Back.